everyone is coming into the new year. Even a bunch of our team and our own staff are like, dude, I want to increase my income. I want to increase my income. I want to increase my income. Well, don't you think getting a hold of more of the leads that you're working faster and easier has the ability to increase your income? What is up? Welcome back to the CA Power Player Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Askins. And today I have our team has went and found someone that we've used for years. We love. Technology always comes up a lot, dialers, compliance, all those types of things. And so we found someone that not only accompany individuals, David and Dart and the whole team that I just love hanging with and especially partying at 8% with. But I'm excited to jump on the channel with them today. So please welcome the head of sales from KIXIE. Very popular platform. David Gable. What's up, sir?
Hey, what's up, man? It's funny you calling us popular because I would say the same thing about your guys' company. You guys are killing it right now. 8% is doing so well, and the feeling is mutual. We love working with you guys. You know, we kind of get to pick and choose the people we sponsor, and we've definitely picked you because I mean, you guys just what you do is incredible. Not just from a business perspective, but also from just a human perspective, like the change you're able to instantiate in the people you work with. So it's a pleasure to be here.
Well, dude, one thing I love about you is your energy is very positive. It's fun. Yeah. You're smiling. You know, you're not quiet. Like you're just fun to be around. You know, especially at 8%, it was incredible. And you're just like always in go mode. You know, do you think that's a big reason for your success in becoming head of sales? Like, and where does that come from?
Yeah, those are great questions. Where it comes from is probably a trickier one. I feel like it was one of those superpowers. You know, each of us are imbued with some superpowers, I think, early on in our lives. I think a lot of our lives are about reconnecting with that as opposed to trying to like abdicate that, like push it to the side and become more like everyone else. I feel like I've always been a pretty optimistic, maybe even to the point of danger kind of person. Like, oh yeah, this is going to work even when it won't. But what's cool about that is I was able to kind of reconnect that and not let it get crushed by the reality of the world that we live in, and failures over time haven't dampened that, which I've been really grateful for. I think one of the reasons we connect really well is I see that same thing in you. I remember, you know, we meeting initially and talking to you after presentations and after you got up on stage and spoke to these big crowds of people and gotten them all worked up, being like, man, he's still on. Doesn't he know the cameras are off? Like, you don't have to keep it up, bro. Like, it's good. It's just the two of us here. But no, that's actually just you. And I feel the same way about me. Like, what's cool about it is I don't feel like I have to turn anything on when I get into conversation with people. And my energy might go up, but it's usually just because I'm naturally enthused about whatever it is I'm talking about, or I get excited making people excited, which is cool.
Yes. It's like a natural sugar, you know, like my wife and I are giving up added sugars for the new year. So I'm like,
are you?
Yeah. But yeah, we are. Yeah. Well, also real quick, what's your since it's timing, what's your resolution, man, or what's your focuses?
You know, it's interesting. I was thinking about that too. Like, what is my, you know, what I typically do, I make New Year's resolutions, but I don't necessarily make them on New Year's. I kind of make them as they come up throughout the year. Like I'll come up with a challenge, or I reflect usually on weekends. Like I spend like at least an hour thinking about how the week went, what I need to do better, what I could improve on. This year for 2025, I've got like a mentor. So someone who's been a legend in the sales community in SaaS and technology. His name's Kevin Gaithard. He ran ZipRecruiter. He's run a bunch of other tech companies. He's working with us now. And it's cool to have a mentor. Sometimes I have to pinch myself because it almost feels like a cheat code. I think to myself, wait, so all I have to do is really just listen to what this coach says and do it. And I'll be as successful as can be expected of me in my role. Like that's unusual. Usually in life, I feel like the toughest problems are one where you're scrounging around trying to find an answer and none is being presented to you. When you're actually presented with an answer, maybe it's from playing sports early on in my life, but like I'm like, great. All I gotta do is listen to the guy and do the thing. In some ways, I imagine it's similar to what people who sign up for your program feel, right? Like a lot of their time before meeting you is probably spent thinking about what to even do to get to where they want to get to. They meet you, and now it's not a question of knowledge, it's a question of willpower. It switches. And it's like, okay,
Mm,
I no longer have to think about and rely on my own brain to come up with the solutions. Someone's telling me what I need to do. Now it's a matter of like, can I kick sugar? Can I do this
yeah.
healthy thing that's required of me for the year? So
Yes,
I'll ask
dude.
you a
Yes.
question too. What's something you think you're asking of the people in your community this year that you think they should double down on for their New Year's resolutions, or for those who haven't made one yet? What's a good staple?
Yeah, I think I'm working on this new talk. It's like my 8 rules to live by, and like as I'm
Ooh,
working on this new talk, and it kind of goes with 8% and all that stuff, right?
yeah.
But I'm one of them, which has really been on my brain lately, is about always honoring your word and your commitments,
Ooh,
and I see so many people in the industry that like they mentally give up and quit
yep.
before they ever give up, or they say they're going to add a mentor, to your point, mentors being a cheat code, which
Mm-hmm.
is awesome, and they don't,
Yep.
or they get in agreements or contracts and they break them,
Oh, is that
like
awful? Yes.
it's crazy. Like, I really think that those little things that seem like, oh, I said I would do something, I will, or and I
Yeah.
didn't. Those little things end up being such a massive difference in somebody's personal life and
Yep.
professional because of that.
Yep. I think you're right. I think a lot of times with that kind of stuff, like the commitments to your own word, I think people, when they think about breaking it, they think about the external like downsides to it. Like, oh,
Mhm.
if I break my commitment to this person, what's going to happen to me externally? They go, that's not so bad. I can weather that. But what they forget
Mm,
about is what happens internally, the damage it does to your own, I guess, like belief in yourself, or your own like your integrity, like your internal integrity. And I think it
yes.
becomes easy if you start breaking your word a lot to just be someone whose word doesn't mean much, even to yourself. So that when you make your own commitments to yourself, hey, I'm not going to do this not because anyone else is telling me to, because I don't want to do this thing. It's damaging to myself or my relationships. You break your own commitments that much easier if you've been breaking them externally to people a lot. So I think
Oh,
that's a really important one. I think it's a great one to be bringing
dude,
up to
thanks,
people.
buddy. Good
Yeah.
point. Great question, by the way. I love that.
Yeah.
And I think too, like if one of the things that's coming up a lot, right, which is why we love our partnership with you guys,
Mm-hmm.
is um, technology,
Yep.
compliance, AI, CRMs, dialers,
Yep.
right, all the things. And I can attest to the fact that one of the things that I love about working with you guys, and I do know that will help agents when they're calling leads, which they do a
Yep.
lot of, is um, your local presence feature
Yeah.
within KIXIE, right? Connection boost
Yep.
is it. We saw a connection boost, like we saw an increase
Yeah. Yes.
because of something like that, right? Because at the
Yes.
end of the day, you talk about resolutions, like dude, and goals and stuff. Like agents, their number one thing is like I did a video recently about here's how you increase your income the next 30 days.
Yep.
Dude, it was phenomenal viewed video because everyone is coming into the new year. Even a bunch of our team and our own staff are like, dude, I
Hmm.
want to increase my income. I want to increase my income. I want to
Yep.
increase my income. Well, don't you think getting a hold of more of the leads that you're working faster and easier has the ability to increase your income? And it
Yes.
does.
Dude, 100%. You know, it's funny working for KIXIE. I never saw myself, and maybe we'll get into this, but like as someone who's really like motivated by telephony, but I am motivated by helping people. And so a lot of what
Mm,
made this job and continues to make this job such a great opportunity for me, and something I put my whole heart into, is the fact that we, like you said, deliver on our promises. So when I coach new salespeople, when we run our sales endeavors, when we think about how to pitch KIXIE, we think about, okay, what real difference can we make in people's lives? And to your point, like connection boost alone, like, look, you're dialing 100 people a day. Without connection boost, you're connecting maybe 5 of them, 10 of them. That's a
mm,
brutal day, not only for your business in terms of the wealth you can bring in or can't bring in, but also just your own mental state. You know, having a 95% loss rate in terms of people picking up your calls just sucks. It sucks, man. It's a tough way to start a new year. If you're someone who's trying to make yourself, this year, I'm going to really make 100 calls, I'm going to connect with more people, that's a brutal way to start it. So to the extent that we can help people, and now you're connecting with 4 times as many of those connections, like, and actually getting a hold of people, thank God, for everybody's benefit. Like, for the people you're calling, get a hold of them. And if they tell you they're not interested in what you're selling, great. You never have to bug their phone again and bring their phone and blow them up during meetings. And if they are interested, great. You can actually help them out with something they're interested in. Everybody wins, right? So
Mm,
those are the kind of things I really like being able to pitch and being able to bring into people's lives because they're impactful in their business, in their day-to-day life, in
yeah.
their own mental state. Like, I love that stuff.
Yeah, yeah. One of the questions I've been getting a lot around is like TCPA and compliance and all this stuff. How does
Yeah.
KIXIE help in regards to compliance in our industry?
Great question. So my background is actually law, not sales, which is
Let's
interesting. I'm an
go.
interesting transition. Yeah, yeah. I was practicing law before I got into KIXIE.
Wow. I would love for
Um,
you to have been my lawyer. I freaking
yeah.
love that, dude. Oh my gosh. That's amazing.
Part of the switch. I mean, this mentality, this like always optimist things are going to work out mentality, isn't the best one to layer on top of law. Like law is supposed to very much be a speed bump to life. Like watch out, this might go wrong. This might go wrong. So I love being in a role where it's no longer about adjusting for things going wrong. It is now about moving forward with things that are going right. It's definitely been a really positive one. But one of the things I do carry with me is like, okay, let's make sure we avoid any legal potholes. Because the worst thing to do is like, you get the pitch right, you've got your skills right, you've got your soft skills going on, you're working with you and your team, you've got your top of the part of the 8% that are actually following through this advice and making calls and connecting with people and moving your business upward. And then you run afoul of some governmental regulation, and now you're in deep water. And what an awful thing to have transpire, because
Yeah.
for the most part, the people who run afoul of TCPA, there are bad actors who are intentionally doing it. Most of the people who do aren't trying to. Unlike a speed limit or something, it's not like this is something that's easily digestible and posted up to your right-hand side whenever you're driving. Like this is some inscrutable law called the TCPA that has to do with how you call and don't call people. It's incredibly long. It changes every year. To avail yourself of that law and become like as compliant as you need to be through your own understanding of it is a brutal ask of people. So basically what we try and do is take that off of the people using KIXIE. So KIXIE is a fully TCPA compliant dialer.
Mm.
We have a bunch of rules you can set within the dialer. I don't want to call people before 8 a.m. I don't want to call people more than twice a day. I don't want to call people who are on the DNC list, but I also don't want to spend $20,000 acquiring a DNC list for myself and then use it with one of our competitors. So like we take a lot of that complexity and we make it really simple. You can toggle on switches for connection boost or DNC list, and we
Mm.
just take care of all that on the back end, and you don't have to worry about the legal stuff anymore. Is there still a chance of running afoul? Sure, but it's minute at that point. Now you're having to intentionally try and work around our system to cause an infraction as opposed to like just accidentally doing one. So if
Yeah.
you're worried about compliance at all, not only can I'm happy to answer questions if anyone who watches this podcast wants to call in and chat with me, I'm happy to, but also we take care of it for you very easily on the platform. So you don't have to worry
Cool.
about it yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. Having call recordings. I think there's a lot of agents that are calling leads and they don't have a recording of anything
Oh
that's
man.
happening at all.
And that's a pain. The recording thing is a pain, not only just for compliance, just for your own ability to we're talking about trying to make New Year's resolutions and improve yourself. I think there's a part of us who don't record things out of laziness. There's another part, and it's more of like subconscious part that's like, I don't want to listen to this again. I want to get it done. And you get off the call, you're like, thank God that's over. And I never have to revisit how badly or how well that could have gone. Like I get to just move on. But I think for the same reason, we should probably go back and think about the things we messed up on in order to improve. We should probably also record things so we can improve and listen to them just for our own benefit. I think no one benefits as much as us from that kind of stuff.
Yeah, recording calls was a absolute. If I look back and say, okay, how did I get good at sales?
Yeah.
Pretty quickly. Going back and listening to my calls was
Yep.
a big piece. I used to listen to calls with all my sales reps every week,
Yeah.
right? Like it was whether you wanted to or not, it was a big
Totally.
piece. And at the end of the day, okay, do people want to listen to themselves talk on recording? No, but do you want to get better, make more sales, and get paid more?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, then.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you do that when you do presentations? I've seen you speak in front of crowds, and you're fantastic. And I say that not just to teach your horn, but like because I used to work with attorneys who were getting ready for trial prep, and I used to go and I would take attorneys who were in IP law and try and get them ready to talk to juries, which can be really tough because they're very
Mm,
technical attorneys. They're not typically ones who are great to talk to people. And so, from a pragmatic, just objective point of view, I can tell you, you're fantastic at talking to people, like in a big crowd. You really are. You can really move an audience. Do you listen to yourself do that after the fact? And like, do you go back and listen to those recordings? Yeah.
100%. What we record, any of we don't record all of my talks, but any of my
Yes.
talks that we record, I always, whether we upload it or not, I always go back and rewatch it.
Yeah.
Always. And I've had some where I'm like, I was off. I just felt it. Like, do I really want
Yeah.
to watch that? I need to watch that one even more, you know?
Yeah.
And two, even if it goes well, like some people are saying, well, I don't
Yep.
want to listen to the bad things. There's positive things that happen too, where
Yep.
you're like, dang it, I got to repeat that.
Totally. Totally. I think the best presentation you ever do typically is one where you take the best parts of the previous presentations and couple them together. Because a lot of times you might
Mm,
get one part of the presentation amazing and the rest is like good, but one part was like fantastic. And you're like, I'm going to take that piece. I'm going to take the time before when I had this other piece perfect. I'm going to merge those together. I think
that's
a lot
good.
of times people watch people like us on podcasts like this, webinars, interviews, and they think, man, they make that look easy, or man, they're really good at this. And I think the trick to making it easy is to really to put a lot of work into it. I know it sounds counterintuitive, but I think
Sure.
the people who are the best at this kind of thing, sure, there are some naturals, but I think for most of the time, the people who are best at this stuff are the people who are hypercritical. So I think my guess is a lot of times people, you get off a presentation and everyone says you did amazing, and you did. It was probably 90% of how amazing you could be, but you're focused on the 10% that could be better, right? Probably every time, and that's what
100%.
makes you great at it. You know?
Ah, thanks, buddy. Yeah, and too,
Yeah.
like to your point, if you ever see anybody that's good at anything, they
Yep.
started out being terrible.
Yep.
They just
Yep.
did, you
Is
know?
that so? What gave you the inspiration to want to work with people in a specific industry and try and make them great? When did you decide like this is what I want to do? Rather than just doing the individual work of sales for yourself, you're like, I want to help other people get better at this.
Yeah, I had some moments along the way where, one in particular where I was able to help a couple new agents that were struggling, not making any money, and I was able to like drive up and help them, make 5 sales in a day, and I
Yeah.
left all the sales with them and drove home and thought, "Man, I enjoyed seeing other people win and make
Yep.
money more than just making myself money." And so I remember that moment, probably that was probably 12, 13 years ago, thinking,
Wow.
if I get a chance to do that again, I just want to do more of that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I feel
Which
the
is what
same
you're
way. It's
doing
really
too.
cool. 100%. I feel both in a micro way with, in terms of me being a sales leader and working with managers who work with direct sales reps. And we're taking most of our sales reps are people who never worked in tech sales before. And we're giving them an entrance to tech
Wow.
sales and making them great at it. And I feel I'm doing it in a macro way with KIXIE, which is about giving a piece of technology to people to make them even better at doing what they're already probably doing. You know what I mean? Like people trying to
Right.
get into sales, people are already in sales, and they just don't want someone who works less hard but has better technology beating them at their own game. And that's really what we're here for.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, because you hear people say, "Oh, work smarter, not harder." Um, some people need to work harder and smarter. And
That's the truth. It's like it's one of those things. Does it have to be mutually exclusive? Because my guess is the person who does both is probably going to beat out either of the people who do one or the other. Like
correct.
I think.
But there are advantages. You mentioned
Yeah.
mentors or cheat code. I've always been stubborn with tech. I'll be honest, man. But
Yes.
but but I've seen the more we implement it into our organization,
Yep.
we see little bumps. Like
Yep.
we leaned into tech in 2024 more than we ever had any other year,
Really.
and ever. And we had our biggest year ever.
Yep.
Our biggest month ever was December. Our biggest day of the whole year was actually December the 31st,
Ooh,
surprisingly.
really?
Yeah, we finished with the biggest day of the year, which was wild, and we've never
Awesome.
been able to do it. But to your point, man, like leaning at me not being stubborn. Like it isn't about how
Yeah.
Cody feels. It isn't
Right.
about what Cody even knows. It isn't about what,
Yep. Yeah.
it's about what can help our business. And if it can help it, dude, I need to give it a shot, you know?
Yeah, and I think you're right. You're right to be, I think, skeptical of tech in some ways because I think a lot of people use tech as an either or. So it's like if I'm good enough at tech, I don't have to be as great of a salesperson. I don't have to be as skilled in these soft skills. I don't have to be as good at rapport building. But I think that's the wrong way to look at that. And when people try to do that, that's when tech gets a bad rap, because people are like, oh, I'm auto dialing hundreds of people, but my pitch is terrible. Now I'm just pissing off 10 times as many people with KIXIE as they would be without KIXIE. That's not the goal. Because the goal, I think, is to take someone who's good at building rapport and good at actually at pitching people on a product that they could really use and making their lives better through it. And then saying, okay, well, rather than doing that with one person at a time, let's dial 10 people at a time and actually have a much bigger impact. That's where tech really matters. It's about taking something you're already good at, like you in presentations, and then being able to do it globally by actually having webinars, or that reality TV show you did was incredible. Like, anyone who hasn't seen this series, what's the name of the series on?
The Ultimate Agent.
Dude, The Ultimate Agent is so good. And again, this is another example. I've seen people who've done reality show themed like things online that end up coming off like kind of hokey and cheesy, and they weren't really filmed all the way through. They were just kind of like whatever. It was done thematically as a reality show, but not really all the way through. You basically were like, you're really good at working with people. You really are. And so like, I want to take something I'm really good at and use technology to multiply the effect and to get it out to a bigger audience. And that's when tech, I think, really serves its purpose, which is taking someone who's already great at something, or taking somebody who's like having a positive impact and multiplying the efficacy of that.
100%. Yeah. What else in regards to KIXIE? Because I do want to cut to a demo in a few minutes, but before we get 100%. There, what else would we like to share in regards to KIXIE? If someone's like, okay, I have a dialer, I'm using some tech, but I'm intrigued because, okay, Cody's got KIXIE on, and they use KIXIE, so okay.
Totally. I think I would say normally people come to us, and this is going to sound a little tech wonky, but I think it's a for those of you who get lost in it, don't worry. Like I'll explain it a little bit afterwards too. So I think people who come to us for I would call them the commoditized dialing features. Those are features that you find across different dialers in different degrees. So like we have a connection boost, which is a fantastic way of automatically rotating your number using a bank of like 50,000 numbers we have all over the world, and dialing someone with a number that doesn't show up as spam on the mobile carrier and is local to them. And it rotates every time. So if you were to call them 3 times in a day, it would be a different number each time, so it doesn't piss them off. That's amazing. There are other dialers who have lesser versions of that, like maybe it's just a number that's local to the person, but it's shared and it's not great, that kind of thing. People come to us for those things, which is great. We obviously have a lot of commoditized dialing features that are fantastic out the gate. You know, all your calls are tracked, recorded automatically, logged in the CRM. That's cool. We have a whole nother set of features that are more customized that no one comes to us for. They come to us for the other stuff, and then we teach them about this stuff once they get in the door. So I'll give you, anyone who's listening to this, a couple quick like teasers. Okay, so for instance, let's say you're the kind of person who gets calls a lot, but when you get them, you happen to be on other calls, in meetings, maybe training new people, whatever, you're busy. And so you miss calls. This is a super simple automation. Every time a call comes in and you miss it, an auto text goes out, says, hey, this is David. I'm probably stuck on a call right now or doing an interview. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Here's my calendar to schedule a link. We can set up that automated text to fire off anytime you miss a call like that. We'll do it for you for free on the trial. If you end up sticking with KIXIE, it's free. Like it's just a automation we can set up for you. We can do those kinds of automations around all sorts of cool stuff. So let's say you're running an email campaign. Someone opens an email. You want to trigger a call to that person the second they open that email. Great, we can do that. And let's say they don't pick up. You want to trigger an automatic voicemail drop. So it leaves a voicemail for you. Automatically do that. Let's say you want to follow up with a text. The next day, to automatically text the person, hey, I know I tried to call you yesterday after you opened my email. A little creepy, but I was just trying to get a hold of you. I'd love to connect with you at a time that's best for you. Let me know when that time is and shoot that text off. And then whenever they happen to want to text you, they can text you back. Those kind of automations are just things to make your life easier. And they're a way to help you connect with real people. They're not a way to insert technology in between you and the person you're talking to. It's a way to facilitate that human-to-human conversation with technology, which is a lot of what we're about. And anytime you guys want something like that set up, we do it for you for free as a part of KIXIE, and also because you're a member of your community, and we want to help you guys out as much as possible.
That's amazing, buddy. Thank you. It's like KIXIE is the best at connecting salespeople to prospects. Yeah,
that's it. I'm going to take that line from you. I like it. That's a great line.
Dude, yes, 100%. I love it. Well, thank you for all you do, man. You guys are incredible. Are you good to cut to the demo?
Dude, I'm down. Let's do it. Let's dive into KIXIE and show kind of what it can do for all the agents at 8% and all the people generally in the community who might be watching this video and thinking, Dude, I'm kind of interested. Show me what you can do. Let's lift
Yeah.
up the hood and show them what they can do.
Also, as you guys are watching this, right? We're about to cut to it. As you guys are watching this,
Yes.
at any point when you're like, dude, I got to check this out. I gotta learn more. We put a link below so that you can check out KIXIE for yourself.
100%. What we're going to do, we'll cut to a demo right now. I'll probably have one of my guys run the demo, and then I'm going to put in our contact info directly in there so you can talk to not only one of our channel reps who works with specifically 8% people, because basically if you come in through this door, I want to make sure we roll out red carpet for you. I want to make sure if you're coming from Cody Askins, you're coming from 8%, that you're getting reps who have worked with other 8% community members. That way you can just ask them, hey, what are the other community members doing? What other automations do they have in place? And we can just tell you. Like that's, again, our commitment is to try to make the technology piece easy for you guys and show you, just like that mentor is showing me for 2025, what I should be doing. We want to just show you what you should be doing based off of your own community member success. So let's do it.
Let's do it. Enjoy the demo.
What's up, 8%ers? My name's D'Artagnan, and I'm here to take you on a deeper dive of KIXIE. The three things we're going to cover is 1, everyone's favorite food, spam, and how to eliminate it. 2, how to boost your efficiency and make a clone of yourself. And 3, how to improve your pitch using call analytics day by day. Let's take a walk and I'll show you how. Let's start off by talking about everyone's favorite food, spam. Spam's clocking in at the highest percentage ever in the industry right now, just above 30%. Our studies also show that people are more likely to answer the phone when they recognize the area code rather than an unfamiliar area code. So let's break that down even further. That means 1 out of 3 calls is being flagged as spam that no one will ever answer. And the other 2 out of 3 calls is showing up as an unfamiliar area code that people are less likely to answer. So you're asking why people aren't picking up the phone? Well, that's why. So here at KIXIE, we developed something called Connection Boost to help alleviate that problem. What Connection Boost does is 3 things. First, it's going to dramatically lower your spam rate. 2, it's going to always match that area code that you're calling into. And 3, it's going to constantly rotate that number when you're calling. So you could actually dial the same number 10 times in a row and pop up under a different number under that same area code every single time to help boost that initial pickup rate. And if they decide to call you back or miss the call, it will always be rerouted back to your phone because we track the endpoint and start point of each call. Great, now people are picking up the phone because we're using Connection Boost. What's something that would even make you more efficient? Well, maybe hire another agent or make a clone of yourself. Well, here at KIXIE, we developed the next best thing that we call power dialing. What power dialing allows you to do is dial up to 10 lines in conjunction with each other and to connect you with that very first person that answers. The other 9 are going to be placed in this deferred section to be called back at a later time, and it's impossible for 2 people to pick up the phone at the same time because it's like an Olympic relay race. It goes down to the very millisecond. This is an example of what it looks like. I'll click Start Dialing Targets, and as you can see, I'm dialing all these 10 lines at the same time. As it rings, you have your details section where you can add any notes, CRM notes that you need, or even set your next task or activity. Oh, sorry, wrong number. Someone always likes to answer when I'm on a demo, right? So now, not only are you matching the area code you're dialing into, but you're also just upping your dials by 10xing them. Instead of making 10 calls throughout the hour, you're making 100. Instead of making 100 calls throughout the day, you're making 1,000. Getting connected with the hottest leads at the fastest rate. So now you're matching every area code you're calling. People are picking up the phone and you're being as efficient as possible by 10xing your dials. What's something that would even make you a better rep or a better manager? Call coaching. Everyone knows listening to your calls is an invaluable experience. Here at KIXIE, we one-up that as well. We like to call it conversation intelligence or CI. What this does is break down your call summary into bullet points, giving you the biggest takeaways from the call, showing what phrases and questions you asked to see what points you hit or what you didn't, and give you the full transcription of the call, as well as a full sentiment analysis where you can see the talk ratio and where your tonality went up, down, or maybe was a little too stagnant. So then you can take those trainings to the next call and perfect your pitch more and more day by day. Great, so we're never eating spam again. You made a clone of yourself, so you're calling 10x the amount you normally do, and you're becoming a better agent with our calling analytics. The worst thing you can do is let a worse rep close more deals because they've adapted to technology that you've ignored. Don't let that be you. Visit Cody's link to book a demo, and we can even take it a step further.